Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in Germany. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you will know that I always like to be open and honest about my experiences here in Germany. I talk about expat life, cultural comparisons, raising bicultural, bilingual children. I love to talk about the joys of living in Germany, but I also don't shy away from talking about the challenges. And in this video today, I am going to be talking about some of the challenges I am faced with raising bilingual children. So before I get into it, I would like to thank italki for kindly sponsoring this video today. italki is an amazing global language learning community that connects students and teachers for one-on-one personal language lessons. It has over 5 million students and 10,000 highly qualified teachers, and there are more than 130 languages available. I get so many questions like, Antoinette, I don't live in Germany, but I really want to learn the German language. How is this possible? I also get messages like, Antoinette, please help me. I have just moved to Germany. I'm a busy mum. I also work. I do not have time to attend a traditional German language school to learn German. Is there any other options? What do you recommend? italki is absolutely ideal for anybody who wants to learn a foreign language or improve on a language they already know, but they don't have very much time to do that, and they don't have a very flexible schedule. So if you think that this is something that may appeal to you, then make sure you check out italki. I will leave a link to their website in my description below. I have a discount code for you also in my description below that you can use at checkout. Okay guys, so now let's move on to some of the challenges that I have faced, or I'm still facing, raising bilingual children. So if you don't know my little story, my husband Rob, he is a native German speaker. I am a native English speaker, and we have spoken only our mother tongue with our children from the day that they were born. And so this is called the one parent, one language method, and we love this method. It has worked so well for us. I do not want to discourage anybody from raising bilingual children, because the advantages of raising bilingual children outweigh the challenges by far. It is an incredible gift to give your children, and something that they will treasure and be grateful for their entire life. And so any little challenges and bumps along the road, they are nothing compared to the advantages. But I don't want to sugarcoat everything, because it is not always easy raising bilingual children. There's definitely challenges that come along with it. One of the challenges I am facing right now is finding a balance between the two languages. I started noticing a little bit of a struggle with balancing the two languages when my daughter Amelia she was almost 3 and she just started kindergarten, and that is when she had a massive explosion with her German language. The first 3 years of a child's life, they are like the golden years. They are absolutely crucial for development in many different areas, including speech development. At this age, children's brains are like little sponges, and I knew that we are living in Germany, so eventually Amelia is going to get exposure to the German language, and it's going to be a lot of exposure to the German language. So I really wanted to give her as much exposure to the English language as possible, and that's what I did. Even though we were living in Germany, we would go to English language playgroup. I would be constantly singing her nursery rhymes, reading her books in English. She got a lot of English exposure, and she also got quite a bit of German exposure. So when my husband was home after work and on the weekends, he would only ever speak German with her. Outside the home, she would hear a lot of German, but English was her language, like her stronger language for sure, until she started kindergarten, and boom. I don't know if I could say it took over, but she had like a German language explosion, and wow, German really became an important language for her. She just loved to speak German, and she kind of clicked, okay, I live in Germany, this is the language that's spoken here. She loved to speak German with her kindergarten teachers, her friends, and then in the evening with her papa, you know, after work on the weekends. And so she had so much German exposure, and you know, there was English there when she got home from kindergarten, but I think at that point she was getting more German language exposure, and it was kind of like, I wouldn't call it a competition, but I had to work extra hard to keep up her English language. I have to say that hard work, it has paid off, because to this day, as I've talked about, we only ever speak English with each other. She loves speaking English with me, and she's a true bilingual kid because she enjoys speaking English. She feels comfortable speaking English as well as German. And once again, it was a different story when my son Matteo was born, because he was born into a household where there was a lot of German spoken. And he heard German conversations between his sister and his papa. German very quickly became the language that Amelia and Matteo chose to speak to each other in, and still to this day they speak to each other mostly just in German. And so I had to work extra hard to give Matteo that English language input. Matteo actually didn't start kindergarten until he was almost 4, which is super late, like a year later than when he was meant to start, because of some house building delays. I won't go into that, but basically he was almost 4 years at home with me with full-on English exposure. You know, I work from home, so I was just with him all the time, speaking English and just exposing him to English as much as I could. So those 4 years were just so precious and just priceless when it came to his language development. He is a true bilingual kid, loves to speak English with me and anybody that's around who wants to speak English with him, and also loves to speak German. So I am super happy with my kids' progress with their languages so far. But it hasn't been easy, and it's constant work and it's consistency. You need to be, as I talk about in every single one of my bilingual videos, you need to be so consistent. You can't let it slip. For Rob, the fact that we are living in Germany made it super easy for him, because the kids have so much exposure to the German language. Wherever we go, wherever we turn, you hear German. If you switch on the TV, it's German. And so he didn't have to work as hard as me, I don't think. I just had to really give my children as much English language input as possible, and really like fight to keep the English language alive. And that's definitely one of the challenges. Also, another challenge that comes along with raising bilingual children, especially if you are living in a country where your native language is not spoken, it can be really hard to integrate when people hear you speaking English with your children in public. And so we'll be at the playground, always use the playground as an example because I'm there all the time having 2 kids, and people will hear me speaking English with my children and they automatically think that I can't speak German, that my kids can't speak German, and that we're foreigners. So basically some parents will just completely ignore you because, you know, you're a foreigner and they think you don't understand what's going on. Or they will try and talk to you, which is so nice, and you know, they try and make an effort to talk to you, but they will talk to you in English because they think you don't understand German. And a lot of the time they're speaking really broken English, and my German is actually far better than their English, and it's kind of like, you know, and you don't know how to have the conversation, whether to switch to German, which I feel is rude if I switch to German, or just carry on speaking English and having just a really basic conversation with them in English. They also don't know that my kids actually are native German speakers, and so they will come up to my kids and speak English with them, and the kids are like, huh? And then they'll hear the kids like turning to each other and speaking like German perfectly, and they're like, oh, okay. And it just makes things a little bit awkward, and you don't know what language to speak and they don't know what language to speak. And but I have to keep speaking English with my kids because I can't let it slip. And you know, you may think, oh, why don't you just speak German with your kids in public? But we are not used to speaking German with each other. English is our language and the language that we're used to speaking to each other in, and I don't want to let this slip. You know, we could easily switch over to German, but my kids don't like speaking German with me. And I want to keep up our English language because I know that this is the problem with a lot of people moving to Germany, they want to integrate, and so they end up speaking German with their children, and they let their mother tongue slip, and their kids don't have an interest in the language after a while because it's not used enough and they don't get enough exposure to the language. I don't want that to happen, so I have to keep speaking English with my kids no matter where we are. It doesn't matter the situation, and I just have to be super confident about that, even when it's hard sometimes. And it would be much easier for me to just speak German with my kids in front of people, but I don't. I stick with English, and I'm pleased that I have done that, but it's not always easy. I definitely think it makes it a lot easier, the fact that I can speak and understand German, so my husband, whatever he's saying to my kids, I know exactly what they're talking about, and my husband speaks and understands English, and so he knows exactly what we're talking about with each other when I'm speaking English with my kids. So the flow of it all, it just works in our family, but I'd be really interested to know how other families do it when one partner doesn't understand the language that their children speak. I'm so interested to know how families in this situation make it work. And so guys, those are some of the challenges I have faced with raising 2 bilingual children. And as I've mentioned, the advantages outweigh the challenges by far. Also, I wanted to mention that if you are interested in checking out italki, I will leave a link to their website and also a discount code in my description below. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!